The Taurus PT99 AF, let's check it out. In 1974, Beretta built a manufacturing facility in Brazil. It was to supply sidearms for the Brazilian military. About 1980, the Brazilian military went to a different direction, and so Beretta sold the factory, all the machinery, even the people that worked there went to work for Taurus. And Taurus has been making the PT92 and 99 for a number of years. Now they've dropped the 99, which is the adjustable sight version, but they're still making the PT92. This is a very close clone to the Beretta. There are a lot of differences, and we'll take a look at that. But overall, it shoots like a Beretta, and it's just really smooth. Now, my brother owned a PT92 20 years ago, and he shot the fire out of it, thousands and thousands of rounds. But ever since then, I've always wanted to get my hands on a PT92 or a 99. And so I went into my local gun shop the other day, and there was one sitting there, and I just had to have it. And with this nickel finish, it's a great looking gun. The Taurus PT99 is what we're going to look at today. This is the same pistol as the PT92, except it has the adjustable sights. Now, Taurus still makes the PT92 with a fixed sight in the back, but there are a lot of differences between this pistol and the current pistol that Taurus is making now, and we'll take a look at that and talk about it. But we're going to go ahead and drop the magazine, make sure the gun is unloaded. We're going to drop our hammer. It does come with two 15-round magazines, but here we have a 10-round magazine. I think that this was probably bought during the assault weapons ban back in the mid-90s. And so I've got a couple of mags coming from Gun Mag Warehouse, and so we're going to see. In fact, they've gone to a 17-round magazine for the PT92. But there are some other aftermarket magazines, and the only one that I can recommend is the Metgar mags, because Metgar makes magazines for most of your gun companies. So stay away from some of the others because they can be a little iffy. Now, this is a double single action pistol. One of the things about this is the new model has a decocker and this one does not. So when you charge the firearm, the hammer comes into the rear position. Now, one of the things that's different about this pistol and your Beretta is that Beretta moved their early safety here on the frame up to the slide, and it is a decocker. Here we don't have a decocker, we just have a safety, and so this means I can carry this firearm cocked and locked. Now, a lot of people really like that feature over the Beretta, and I'll show you the comparison between the Beretta and how it works. And honestly, while I really like this system a little bit better, this is the satin nickel finish. It did come in a blue finish as well. Now they make a blued finish and a stainless steel finish, so they no longer make the satin nickel finish. It does have a aluminum alloy frame, and then of course a steel slide and barrel. And then, guys, it's pretty much a Beretta 92 as far as the design. Now, a lot of the parts do not interchange, and even the magazines, nor do the grips. And so this is really a completely different firearm that's really inspired heavily with the Beretta 92, and yet built on a lot of the Beretta 92 machinery. And so you're getting a lot of the tolerances and a lot of the design features right here with this firearm. Now, here the grips are a nice wood grip. I think typically now they come with a polymer grip. It does have kind of a squared off trigger guard. You can see the hammer in the rear position. We're going to go ahead and just drop that. And the sights on top are adjustable. And then you have a integral front sight, which is typical for most of your early Berettas. I think some of the later models now, they're coming with a dovetail. but it's pretty much what you get. And it is a 3-dot configuration, and the front dot is red, and so there is somewhat of a contrast. In fact, these sights really are very visible at the range. And you can see the nickel finish on here. Even though this is a pretty, it's been around for a while, it has a really nice finish to it. I think this is a great looking firearm. Now it has that same thicker grip that your Beretta has. It has serrations that go along the back strap and along the front strap. And some of these were actually similar to what Beretta was using. A lot of the newer ones now, they're going to checkering, which I really like a little better. It doesn't have a really solid grip you feel when you grab it. And of course, some of that has to do just with the smooth grips. You can get replacement grips for the Taurus, but with the decocker, it's a little different. And that's another thing about the new models. They still have the feature on the frame where you can carry it cocked and locked, but then when you bring this down and then down, it actually is a decocker. So this is a double single action firearm, and that means that I can actually pull the trigger and actuate the hammer. Because there's no decocker here, there's a little bit of a safety factor. You have to be really careful when you're dropping the hammer. So when you load a fresh magazine in, and then we're going to take it out so we can function it, and then we bring back and load around, your hammer's in the rear position, and you can just put your safety up and you can carry it cocked and locked. If you want to drop the hammer, you need to really be careful, lower that hammer, and then you can engage your safety. But again, with the new models, I can go ahead and I can decock it directly right here from this lever. Another thing that's different with the new models is the serrations. And so here we have really tight serrations with the new PT92s. The serrations are wider apart and they're a little bit more aggressive. But I still find that these serrations are easy to grab. And the one thing about the Beretta is it is a slick, very smooth action, and the Taurus is exactly the same. It's just buttery smooth. Now you have your magazine release right here, and to be honest, you have to really kind of reach around to get that mag release a little bit more than your Beretta. And a lot of the Berettas have the thinner grip designs where it makes it a little thinner to grab right here. But honestly, I have medium hands, and this still fits my hand very well. And the safeties are ambidextrous. One thing that I personally like to do is when I'm down at the range, I like to shoot weak hand. I like to practice some shooting with my left hand. And so what's really nice is to be able to get a hold of this safety even from the left hand. And so I really like this feature on here that it is ambidextrous here. But your mag release is not ambidextrous, but I believe you can switch it to the other side. This does not have an accessory rail, but the new Taurus PT92s have accessory rails. Like a lot of the Berettas, I mean, they've kind of moved to that because a lot of people like to put lights on their pistols. You do have somewhat of a beaver tail, so it allows you to get a good grip. And of course, with that slide coming really close to the hand, I mean, it makes it nice. It does have a commander style hammer, so you can actually cock it, which makes it really nice, and then you can carry it again cocked and locked. And then again, you can drop that hammer, but I would not recommend that too much. You need to really be careful when doing that and make sure that gun is pointed in a safe direction. Now here I have a Beretta 92F, and this is a little bit different than the current models, but you can see, I mean, these guns really, without the name on the side, you could barely tell the difference. One of the big things though about the safety of the Beretta, and it's one of the things that I am not a big fan of, even though this is a Wilson decocker that's put on here, I put some extra Wilson parts, even an extended mag release, and we have the G10 grips. One of the things about this pistol is if the hammer's down and you bring down the decocker, it remains in the safe position. So if you're not thinking about it, which I've done before, I've taken this to training classes before just to work on this and make sure that I took that safety up. But you've got to bring the safety back out to put it on fire. And so that's one thing that I really am not a big fan of with typical Berettas. But they do make the G model safety that will go on here. So that means that when you pull the decocker down, it pops back up. Now on the 92F, you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. But on some of the newer FS models, you can add that G safety, and that way it really brings the safety back. Now here we have more of your current modern Beretta 92, and this is actually the 22 model. But you can see the grips. It has the polymer grips. It has your rail on the front. This still has the standard decocker that doesn't pop back. But again, with most of your Berettas now, your current model Berettas, you can install or buy the model with the G-safety, which honestly I prefer. And this model actually has the dovetailed front sight, so I can switch those out if I want. And then I have a fixed sight at the back. But with my Beretta 92F, we still have that integral front sight. Now they have a 5-inch barrel just like your standard Beretta 92. But one thing that they don't have that the Beretta does is this little bar right here. And this is what they have for their firing pin block. And right here, when you pull the trigger, notice how it rises up. And that allows for the firing pin to go forward. But here on the Taurus, you can see that it doesn't have that. But it does have a firing pin block inside the slide. And we'll look at that when we break it down. And the weight on the Taurus PT99. 2 pounds, 2.6 ounces. One of the things I'm not really a big fan of with the new Taurus PT92s is it does have a security screw right here that actually disables your mainspring. And you have a little key and you turn it. A lot of guns have gone to that. But I'm really not a fan of that. That can, to me, something can happen where that can get pushed out, and that's what it does, it comes out. But the originals do not have these. And you can find these on the used market. Let's check the trigger pull action, and we're going to check double action. So it's a heavier trigger pull, it's long, but it's really smooth. I'm going to check for reset. Right there. I mean, it is really fast. Then with single action trigger pull, we have a little bit of take up, and then a nice crisp break. We're going to check trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. I don't know that it'll read the double action. We're going to see if we can get it to. 9 pounds, 12 ounces. Let's try single action. 5 pounds, 4.6 ounces. And I tried that a number of times, and that's about the average. I want to thank Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo, all made right here in the USA. And forgot my Lula loader, but this is only a 10-round magazine, which this must have been made during the assault weapons ban. Got more magazines coming from Gun Mag Warehouse, but this is what I got now. Now the Taurus PT99 down at the range just shoots like a Beretta 92. I mean, it is pretty much the same gun. I mean, just with a few upgrades like we've talked about. But, you know, the grip, the feel, the smoothness of the slide, that is one of the things about the Beretta 92 that I just love. It's just very smooth. With that open design, you really don't have to worry about any kind of stovepipes, and we didn't have any kind of malfunctions. One of the things about the Beretta is it's a pretty heavy pistol. But even though it has an aluminum alloy frame, but it allows you to really hold on to the gun, it gives you really good recoil management. Now, one thing about this pistol in particular, they do have the serrations on either side, but the grips are pretty slick. Even though they're wood, it's not really that grippy. But I really didn't feel like I didn't have control of the pistol the whole time. The sights, they look great. I mean, they show up well, even though these particular sights are older. Now, of course, they don't make the PT99 any longer, but the PT92 has nice sights on it. But whether I was shooting at slow fire or rapid fire, has a really quick reset, and it just feels really good in the hand. It's, again, just like bringing down a Beretta 92 down to the range. You feel like you have the same gun. And the only thing I can complain about as far as range time is sometimes the brass does come back and hits you in different places. So, you know, that is one thing, and I'm sure the extractor could be tuned and allow that to really kind of go in another direction. But overall, this is a lot of fun to take to the range. And what I really love is not having to remember that once I decock it, I've got to pop that safety off. I love the cocked and locked. As far as disassembly goes, we're going to drop our magazine, check again to make sure the gun's unloaded. These are super easy to disassemble. Right here you have a small little lever, you just push it in, bring this down, and it comes right off. I mean, it is really quick to disassemble. We're going to take out our recoil spring and our guide rod, and it is fixed, it is not captive. And then we're going to bring out the barrel. Now, one of the things about the barrel is it has a locking block built into the barrel right here, and you can pop that out. and do your cleaning. This was actually based on the Walther P38, which had a similar locking block action, but it's really different than the Browning design. Here we have nice beefy slide rails, and you have 3 sections, but really the quality, especially these older ones, and again, I haven't even seen one of the newer ones. We do have a firing pin block here at the back, so it's going to be drop safe, but the quality seems to be really nice on these. Guys, that's pretty much all you need to do to field strip. To reassemble, just bring in your barrel, put it back into the slide, making sure that you're in the rear position here with your barrel, and then bring in your guide rod. You're going to set it down right here, bring it back over your rails. I go ahead and lock it and then bring my lever down, and we're good to go. Function test, good stuff. So guys, as far as price goes, one of the big appeals of the Taurus PT92, and for that matter the PT99 on the used market, I'm finding these for around the $369 range. And then for used, sometimes you can find them for around 250 bucks. And so they're really reasonable, where, you know, your standard Beretta comes in at about 550. And so, you know, you're saving yourself a couple of $100 if you want to go with the Taurus. Now, obviously, Taurus has had some quality control issues over the years, but most people that have had the PT92 or the 99 are big fans. It's just one of those things about what you like. And if you like this frame-mounted safety, that's definitely a plus to me for the Taurus. But, you know, Beretta quality is hard to beat. Magazine options run about $27.99, I think, on Gun Mag Warehouse. And then the Metgar mags were running about $21. So very reasonable mag options. And again, these mags will not work in the Beretta or the Beretta into these. And also, again, the grips. And there are other parts. So the big thing is you're going to need to find Taurus parts. But honestly, these have been made again since the 80s. And so there's a lot of these out there. And because it is a Beretta design and it's pretty much the same features and dimensions, you're going to be able to put this in any kind of Beretta holster. So overall, I think there are a lot of pluses for the Taurus PT92 and 99. Again, if you can find them on the used market, great, but these are still being made in the 92 series. Guys, they're just great little firearms. So guys, if you're a big fan of the Beretta 92, but you want something for a lesser price, the Taurus PT92 series is excellent, and of course with the new upgrades it's even better than the one that I have. I mean, this is an older generation, and so you get a lot of the same features you're going to get with your Beretta. I love the cocked and locked feature. I mean, that is really nice, and now of course they have the decocker. But if you can find one of these used, they're still really great pistols. Rubber Dummies is one of the best training tools on the market, and you get a 10% discount using Suit00 when you click the link down in the description. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And the one thing about the Beretta is that the other things, you know, are just kind of the adjustable sight on the P99, on the PT99. Yeah, let's do that again. That was really awkward. $27.99 for the. This is just not working. It's not working. Reliable shooters. They tend to be very. PT99 AF. I'm not really sure what AF stands for. So I guess I won't include that.